What's going on, guys? I hope you all are doing well. I wasn't planning on streaming tonight, but then I decided, might as well jump on here for a little bit. It's 10 p.m. Eastern Time. I think the last time I streamed was Saturday night, and I was literally losing my voice. So I'm finally feeling like I'm getting my voice back. There's a bunch of news to talk about, some legitimate, some speculative, some of outright fake. And there's plenty to talk about post UFC 280. I will be doing my weekly live chat tomorrow, so we can talk about a lot of this stuff too. But I figured I'd jump on here for about an hour or so before I go to sleep, and see what you guys want to talk about, see what's going on. There might be stuff I missed, to be quite honest. Honestly, I haven't been paying super close attention to the news the last 2 days. I mean, all last week. I mean, I don't even know how many hours I put into the channel last week, so it was an insane amount. I've been gone for 2 days. Not really, because I have 2 videos out on the channel, but you get the point. Actually, 3 videos out on the channel, because I did Was Petr Yan robbed against Sean O'Malley? Go check out that video if you haven't already. What's next for Islam Makhachev? Go check out that video. And I also have a Calvin Kattar Arnold Allen prediction video out on the channel. So you have 3 videos you can check out. If you haven't watched those already, guys, do me a favor and go check those out after the stream. But I'm here. I'm going to answer some questions. I'm probably going, I don't know. I never know what I'm liable to do. So I'm probably going to be live tonight. I'm obviously live tonight. Not probably. I'm definitely going to be live tomorrow. And I don't know about the rest of the week. I might skip this fight night card. I'm not sure. It's all up in the air. But I got more videos coming out. I got a bunch of videos, ideas. I've been taking polls in the community tab. I was going to do a video tonight, which was going to be the bantamweight matchmaker, which you guys voted on in the community tab, and that seems to be getting most votes. Let me go check. I haven't looked in a bit. Yeah, it's got 44% of the votes, so that's probably going to be next. I don't like making videos and not having like some images to put in there, like at least side by sides. And believe it or not, that's very time consuming to make those side by sides, because you have to search for quality images, then you have to edit them side by side. And I know it doesn't sound like much, but when you get into 15 fighters and making side by sides for you end up with, depending, you match them up with each other, you end up with about maybe 8 side by sides total, because someone's fighting someone outside the rankings or whatever it may be. It's very time consuming. So I'm probably going to do that video tomorrow, maybe if not Thursday. But I'll definitely be streaming the weekly live chat tomorrow. And I have realistically, I could sit down right now and probably do 4 or 5 videos. I want to do the things I love and things I hate about UFC 281. I want to do a video about Jones versus Stipe. I want to do the bantamweight matchmaker. And there's a couple other off the top of my head I can't think of right now. I wouldn't mind matchmaking up some of the losers, Charles Oliveira of UFC 280. And I'm sure there's going to be other news that are going to come out. I mean, there was a news about Bryce Mitchell versus Ilia Topuria, which I would have liked to make a video on. I just didn't get a chance. There's not enough time in the day. There's so much MMA news. There's so many quality videos I want to do that are kind of unique. Maybe it's not just talking about the latest news, like the things I love, things I hate. I have to do a grading UFC 281. Next week I got to start on predictions, because that's a nice card. That's a really solid card. I want to do probably 5, 6, 7 predictions from UFC 281. And that's not that far away. That's 2 weeks from this Saturday. So realistically, next week I really need to get started on making those prediction videos. So there's quite a few videos that I have that I really want to make. There's probably a bunch of fight announcements, I would guess, coming soon. It seems like the UFC all of a sudden will just drop a bunch of them out of nowhere. So there's a bunch of stuff coming soon. I can just only make so much. And tonight I really didn't feel like thinking too much or making any graphics. And you guys always enjoy when I jump on here and we answer some questions. So that's how I ended up here. It's a long-winded way of how I ended up here. Let me check one more thing real quick that I don't know what the answer to it, what the answer is. We have 5,618 subscribers on the channel. I appreciate you guys very much. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe to the channel right this very second. If you have not already, do me a favor and like the stream. That helps push the stream out to more people, and I would greatly appreciate it if you like the stream. Okay, now that we got all that out of the way, put your questions in the chat. My voice still isn't great right now. I did entirely too much talking last week. So put your questions in the chat. We're going to get to your questions, and we're going to go for about an hour on stream. We're already 5 minutes in, which is crazy. I feel like we just started it, but it is what it is, guys. What's up, Homework? He says, hello, Joey. Glad to see you back. I am back, my friend. What's up, Sanjay? Hope you are doing well. Thank you. I hope you are doing well as well. What's going on, Benji? Can't wait for Islam versus Volk and Aljo versus Triple G. Yeah, I put that in the title. You know, that's not confirmed. And what's super annoying is I actually had a video planned saying I thought that's what the UFC was going to do. We talked about it a little bit in the post-fight. We talked about it a little bit in the stream I did after the post-fight. But yeah, I thought that's what was going to go down regardless. Now it's not a super official. Just Ariel said, oh, that's what I'm hearing, and people ran with it, which is super annoying. So it is what it is, but I'll talk about it in the Bantamweight Matchmaker as well as this live stream. NKS432, thank you for the $2 donation. I greatly appreciate you. You said for the kid to be's college fund. Okay, thank you. I'm sure he'll appreciate it in the far future. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. Okay, back to the questions. Thank you again. I appreciate your support. It means a lot. Perfect timing. Sup, my man? Nothing much. I hope you were doing well as well, Magic. Sterling versus Triple C early prediction. Am I going to do it again? I'm picking Henry Cejudo. Sterling's not going to be able to grapple him. It's not going to happen. So it's going to come down to the striking, and I think Cejudo's a better striker. Sugar's now saying he beat the dog shit out of Yan. Did he really? That's hilarious, actually. What's up, Billy? Appreciate you. What's up, John Rob? What's up, French Fries? What's up, Sanjay again? What's your thoughts on John Jones' situation? Some local guys from Ohio saying Stipe weighs 257. It doesn't appear like it's happening. There was a press release today saying Yuri versus Glover is the main event. I've been telling you guys for a while now. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Francis Ngannou is due to return in January or February, latest March. Why would they do an interim title fight in December? They'd rather do Ngannou Jones. So I don't think it's going to happen. And if it does, it's very damaging to what's going on in the negotiations of UFC and Ngannou. That's what that tells me more than anything. Does Islam's win over Oliveira cement Khabib's lightweight goat for you? Right now it does, of course. Yeah, there's no one above him. Honest question, do you ever get bored with MMA and take some time out? Do I get bored with MMA? I don't get bored with MMA. But sometimes I just get exhausted, you know, it's just like there's so much to do every day. And then there's just so much MMA to discuss. But honestly, I don't really get bored with it. And honestly, since I started the channel, I haven't really took any time. Like, I don't remember what's the longest I've ever didn't post on the channel. Maybe 2 or 3 days, max. So I'm honestly, first off, I'm addicted to MMA. Second off, forget about MMA in general, even though that's the topic of the channel. I'm addicted to growing the channel. It's like an addiction of mine. Like, I want to make the channel successful just because it's going to be awesome to have a successful YouTube channel. But yeah, sometimes it's like, holy shit, because like right now I got so many video ideas in my head. You know, it's like overwhelming almost. But at the same time, I have an iron will and I thrive under pressure. So to answer your question, not really. I don't ever get bored with MMA. Sometimes we have disheartening, shitty cards, which, I think happens. And I'm not one of these, like, UFC shills who are just saying, oh, this card has great fights. I can't wait for this card. It's great. And it's got piss poor fights on it. I'm not one of those people. I could skip a card, you know. I could realistically skip a card if it's really bad. Did you see Colby versus Hamzat? That is fake fake. No legitimate source is actually reporting that. Of course the fight makes sense. We've been talking about the fight for months. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. I caution you guys. Stop reading these fake-ass Twitter accounts. Stop following these fake-ass Instagram pages. Could it happen? Yes. But there's no new news on it. There is no new news on it. What these Instagrams do and what these Twitters do, they throw it out there as if it's 100% legitimate, okay? They throw it out there. If it doesn't happen, they just don't acknowledge it and pretend something changed. If it does happen, they claim legitimacy, okay? We speculate fights all the time on here, but I don't ever tell you guys a fight's a done deal when it's not a done deal, okay? I've been talking about Colby Hamzat for literally months. And I said it's the only fight to make, and it's the fight I think will get done. But it's not a done deal. So there's really nothing, there's no new thoughts on it. Winner of Cater versus Allen fights Ortega next. I think that kind of makes sense. Or they could fight the winner of Bryce Mitchell, Ilya Topuria. What's up, Andy? What's up, Sinister? I really like the idea of Fiziev Islam. That is a great idea, I know. Joe, I think a good video idea was why TJ Dillashaw waste everyone's time and money because of his injury. Maybe he needed that paycheck, I guess. That's the only thing I can think of, is maybe he needed that paycheck. That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, it's unfortunate. He wasted our time. He, delegitimized another win of Aljamain Sterling, which he already has enough of those. And it's super unfortunate for everyone. Super unfortunate for the fans. Super unfortunate for both fighters involved. Unfortunate for everyone who bought the pay-per-view. It's just super unfortunate in general, all the way around. I don't know if I can make a video about that, honestly. I'm going to throw up just thinking about it. It just pisses me off. What's up, Fast? Hope you were doing well. Imagine Oliveira Holloway 2 at 155 sign me up. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. I doubt that happens. Holloway's going to wait and see what happens. What's up, Sobro? Thank you for being a member. Again, thank you for the super chat. JD says, hey, remember I told you Aljo was going to win? Where's my apology? Will you finally give Aljo the respect, or are you picking Cejudo over Aljo? Specifically, what's the apology about? Well, why do I owe you an apology for having a different opinion? If there's something I'm forgetting, feel free to let me know in the chat. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing a piece of the puzzle. But for having a difference of opinion, why would I apologize for that? Maybe I'm missing something, though. Solid pick. I'm very happy for you that you got an accurate pick. It is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses. I could say, oh, well, TJ was injured, which is true. But at the end of the day, I picked him. At the end of the day, I picked him, and I was wrong. And I eat that loss, and I accept that loss. And I like to talk about bad picks and wrong picks. There's some people who will sit here every time they get a wrong pick and just sit here and make excuses for why it was wrong. I don't care why it was wrong. Well, I do care why it was wrong. But I don't care why it was wrong as an avenue to make excuses why this or that. I made a wrong pick. I like to analyze the reasons that it was wrong. And one of them being TJ was injured. We did not know TJ was injured. But it is what it is, and I had a lot of wrong picks on this recent card. So, but yes, I'm picking Cejudo over Aljo. So, I mean, this fight against TJ Dillashaw told me absolutely nothing. I picked Oliveira. Don't think it was a bad pick. Nobody knew the fight would look like that. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that said they did. So, I thought it would be like that. I thought it was a possibility. I thought whoever win, it would be dominant. It would be dominant. So, and that's pretty much what happened. Islam Makhachev dominated Charles Oliveira. And I thought it was one way or another. I hope Petr Yan doesn't leave the UFC, such a talented fighter. I hope so as well. I heard Zombie versus Giga was planned for the main event of Fight Night, but Ariel said Zombie wants Max Holloway for his retirement fight. Well, Zombie's asking for a death wish then. Joey, here's a video idea. 3 things surprised you the most about 280. Thanks for the video idea. I'll take that into account. I got a lot of ideas in the bank. Joey, are you ever going to have a gaming channel? Maybe, maybe not. I have no idea. That's way in the future if it exists. Dustin Chandler is really going to be entertaining, I think. Same card as Israel Adesanya and Pereira. Yes, it is. That's going to be a very exciting fight, in my personal opinion. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. So, it's right around the corner, too. It's not that far away. I think Volk is too small for Islam. He will get out grappled easy because of the size advantage. Beneil will give Islam his biggest test. I agree 100%, John. I talked about it in my recent matchmaker video for Islam Makhachev, so I couldn't agree with you anymore. Joey, thank you for clarifying Hamzat versus Colby's fake. These Twitter accounts are wild. Yes. And again, it may very well happen. It's the fight that makes sense. It's the best educated guess. It's the fight that I've been talking about is probably going to happen for months. But no news has changed, okay? It was just like the fake shit from last Saturday or Friday, where they were saying Dana White, he's working on Hamzat Chimaev versus Colby Covington. And that isn't even remotely what happened. I watched the interview. The reporter told him, I have an idea. I want Hamzat Chimaev versus Colby Covington, the co-main event of the Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman 3 card. And Dana White kind of laughed and said, I'll get it done. And then that was the end of the interview and he left. May that very well happen? May that be what he's working on? Yes. But these people are just throwing shit at the wall and praying it sticks. That's what they're doing. That is what they're doing, guys. Do you think Aljo beats Sugar Tits? What does Aljo have to do before you actually pick him in a fight? Aljo versus Sean O'Malley. I believe Aljo would absolutely massacre Sean O'Malley. Did you see the takedown defense against Yan? Now, Yan's a very good grappler. Even in instances, he ragged out Aljo. But Aljo has better top game than Petr Yan, okay? Aljo has better top game. And if Aljo gets Sean O'Malley down, I do not believe O'Malley's getting back to his feet. He's very positionally dominant when he gets on top of you. Obviously, he gets your back. It's very hard to get out of that position against Aljamain Sterling. And, I don't think Yan was actively trying to hold O'Malley down. I mean, he definitely was taking him down. He definitely wanted to maintain some of the positioning. But a lot of times you won't see as much output. As much as people are saying he didn't throw any ground and pound. The reason O'Malley got up most of the time is because Yan was letting loose with ground and pound. That's how O'Malley was able to scramble back to his feet on multiple occasions. Whether it be when he was seated up against the fence and Yan would just kind of let go of the legs and start throwing shots to the head of O'Malley. Aljo will secure the position. He will dominate the position. And he will prioritize ground control and top game over ground and pound. So Aljamain Sterling would destroy Sean O'Malley, in my opinion. Joey, should the UFC give Justin a title shot if he's willing to fight Fiziev? No. Kind of stupid how Stipe Jones might almost be done and signed soon when Francis will be ready soon. Exactly, it makes no sense. I wonder how many buys UFC 280 did. I don't think it did that well because of the timing of it. It's not in a very good time slot. So I hope they do Triple C versus Aljo and Sean versus Chito too. I favor Chito in the rematch. Those are the fights I wanted immediately afterwards. And that's why I got to do my bantamweight matchmaker video. I agree. Giga is spectacularly delusional fighter. These guys fight for a living in a steel cage show. Always going to be some of that. But he takes to another level. He says 9 out of 10 times he beats Cater. Yeah, sometimes I think they're just talking out of their ass and they don't really believe what they say. Which division in the UFC do you think has the most squatters in the top 5? Without looking at it and not having it right in front of me, I'd probably say lightweight. If they make Sean versus Chito and they don't make it a 5-rounder, I'm going to throw a hissy fit, John. I have a theory about TJ. He thought the division would pass him by if he didn't take the fight, and he's fighting Father's Time. Are people serious? People asking for apologies for difference of opinion? Yeah. Aljo didn't win, literally fighting a disabled man. He still won, but does it tell us anything? No, it doesn't tell us anything. Why do I feel a little let down from the card? Gamrot losing, O'Malley decision, TJ injury, Charles getting stopped, all bummed me out. Yeah, the card was definitely mildly let down, but I don't think it was a terrible card. I think it just had such high expectations, and it kind of felt a little bit off, especially with that horrific Sean O'Malley decision. Do you think the New England cartel is done for? No. No. Hey, Joey, remember UFC 234? Crazy thinking that they charged us to watch that card. What was UFC 234? Crazy thinking that they charged us to watch that card. Wasn't that the free one with Cejudo and TJ? No. That was Anderson Silva, Israel Adesanya, wasn't it? Let me Google it. Yeah, that was a garbage card. I can't believe I even paid for that. I'm actually embarrassed. That is a horrific card. It was originally supposed to be Adesanya. No, it was originally supposed to be Gastelum versus Whitaker in the main event. So it was an okay card. But yeah, that was a horrific card. I'm ashamed of myself for even paying for that card, to be quite honest. In layman's term, if TJ didn't take the fight at 280, there was a good chance he'd never get a title shot again. Well, it doesn't matter. He was more likely to get another title shot than he was to win the title there. So it doesn't make any sense. Hey, Joey, I think if TJ was not injured, he would have beat Aljo. I picked TJ to win, so I don't know. It's impossible to say. Did you think Oliveira and Islam will face each other down the line again? It's possible. I'm going to say no, though, unfortunately. Joey, you should do something like... no, I think that shit's corny, dude. I don't even pay attention to it, so I would never do something like that. When something just puts me off, and that shit really actually I find weird. I know some people like it. I just don't care for it. I thought Islam would win, but he beat that ass much worse than expected. He will be a tall order for Volk for sure. Debate for GOAT status for Volk if he pulls it off somehow. I agree with everything he said, except I thought whoever would win dominantly, so it doesn't surprise me. What do you think about that head kick by Sean against Yan? I think it was partially blocked in the third round. It was partially blocked. I watched it multiple times. But it was a solid head kick for sure. O'Malley had a decent showing, even though he lost. If Oliveira dominates Dariush and maybe Fiziev, it's unavoidable. I guess so. Smash the like button. Thank you, Tommy. Yeah, guys, if you have not liked the stream yet, I would greatly appreciate it if you took 1 second, scrolled down, and hit the like button. I would greatly appreciate it. We do these streams all the time. The more you like it, the more you watch, the more YouTube recommends it to other people. And then, boom, we end up with a stream. The other night, we had 206 people in here the other night. So, appreciate it if you guys would do that for me. What's up, Dabrowski? I hope you're doing well. They should do Cejudo versus Aljo on the undercard of Ngannou versus Jones. And also have Chito versus Sean, too, on that card. I doubt they're not going to put all that on the card, but sign me up. Triple C will take care of Aljo soon. That he probably will. If Beneil can out-wrestle Gamrot, I think he may be able to neutralize a lot of Islam's wrestling, but I still pick Islam 70-30. I'd pick Islam for sure over Beneil, but it'd be interesting. Do you think, or people in general, underestimated Islam in the Charles fight? I don't believe I underestimated it, okay? I said it in my prediction video. I think whoever wins, it's going to win dominantly. And I think if Charles doesn't get him out of there early, I think it's going to be a tough fight for Oliveira. So I think I knew how good Islam was. I don't think I underestimated him as a whole, but I think I underestimated his striking a little bit. Even though I did talk about that he had good power and had decent striking, I just didn't think it would be that good. Have Fiziev versus Gaethje on the Perth card? I doubt it. I doubt that's going to happen. That card doesn't seem like the right spot for Fiziev Gaethje. Do you want to see Max versus Chandler? No, I do not. Islam Chandler would be really fun. Islam hates Chandler and vice versa. Yeah, if Chandler can get a couple wins together, sign me up. It's kind of funny people say that Islam hasn't fought anyone before his title shot, but he would work all of Charles' opponents like Justin, Dustin, and Chandler. Might be a little tough though. I mean, it doesn't matter what we think. At the end of the day, we have to operate in from the standpoint of facts. And, just because Islam would beat them doesn't change the fact that he had a garbage resume, okay? Petr Yan has had maybe most frustrating UFC career, in my opinion, definitely. Without a doubt, a super frustrating career. I mean, could you imagine? Is Islam going to go down to lightweight GOAT when he retires? Maybe. If he beats Volk, I don't see anyone in the lightweight division outside of maybe Fiziev beating him. So, most likely, yeah, if he stays active, for sure. UFC 234, yep. Imagine being a grown man and getting mad at someone else's opinion and going on a live stream to demand an apology to Lamau. Man, me and Andy are like operating on the same wavelength. Every message you say, Andy, like every time I read one of your messages, I'm like, dude, you're talking right from my brain. And the way you word it too, usually, I think me and Andy would get along good in real life, to be quite honest. Bilal standing KO, didn't see that coming. Brady's nose cardio is a red flag. Agreed. Should Korean Zombie fight Sadiq Yusuf next? I don't care who the Korean Zombie fights next, to be quite honest. I'm a Korean Zombie fan. What is worse, the original UFC 279 or UFC 234? From a quality standpoint, probably 234, but 279 just had terrible matchups. Hey, Joey, so after a few days, how would you rate 280? Maybe that's a video idea I need to start doing. Rating pay-per-view cards after the fact. I'd give it like a 6 or a 7. I think it was a decent card. I mean, there were some disappointments in there, but it was a solid card. Do you think Holloway could beat Islam? Absolutely not. Holloway would get wrecked by Islam. I'd bet the house on that. I wouldn't even want to see that matchup. It'd be a literal slaughter. 30-27 Yan, I agree. Early prediction for Pereira versus Adesanya. I got to dig deeper on it, man, but I'm leaning Adesanya by decision, to be quite honest. We all say O'Malley Vera 2 should happen, but how would it play out in your opinion? I think O'Malley would be winning until he's not. You know, just like a typical Marlon Vera fight. I think O'Malley's a slicker striker, but I think the brutality and, you know, just the durability and the stamina of Chito Vera would be too much for O'Malley. If it's not 5 rounds, I wouldn't want to see it. I mean, that fight would need to be 5 rounds. But that's a huge fight. But I think Sean would win early. And then Chito would either stop him late, or I could see even Chito stopping him early as well. Maybe another, nerve kick. The perennial nerve, as everyone likes to talk about. Imagine if he did it twice. Imagine if Chito chopped those legs brutally twice and then flash KO'd him. Do you give the first round to Yan clearly or close round? If yes, based on what mostly? I thought it was clearly for Yan. I think round 1 was closer than round 3. And I think round 3 was clearly Yan as well. Okay. Even though apparently that's a hot take, but I rewatched it twice. And I mean, I thought it was clear as day. I saw it for a total of 3 times, and all 3 times I thought the same. The reason I give 1 to Yan is he clearly landed the better, harder strikes. I don't care what the bullshit stat of significant strike says. Significant strike is so vague. And who's making these stats? We don't know. We don't know. I go off the eye test. I will never use stats to support my argument, and I will never take stats into account to delegitimize my argument, okay? Yan landed the harder strikes. Yan got a couple takedowns, I believe 2 takedowns, or maybe 1, I can't remember. Landed some ground and pound off those takedowns. Yan also, in that round, was pressing forward the entire time. Octagon control. O'Malley's punches and what won him the fight was he was hitting the guard of Petr Yan quite a bit. And I guess they scored that. You know, if every one of the punches O'Malley threw and hit the guard of Yan landed on Petr Yan, O'Malley would have clearly won the fight. But I thought he lost, and I thought it was clear as day, and I don't think it's up for debate. And I'm so tired. The MMA media is happy to have O'Malley in the winning column because in their minds, it's another star for them to use for clickbait and post articles and get clicks on. And they, just by association in a way, from the lowest level of MMA YouTuber to the highest level of MMA media, Sean O'Malley winning inadvertently affects their paycheck. It varies depending on what level you are at. But even for someone like me, Sean O'Malley winning, if I really wanted to exploit it and make a shit ton of videos about it on YouTube, it's good for me. And it's good for Sean O'Malley's next fight. And inadvertently, it's affecting their paychecks. And if you look at every media member, who all of them scored it for Yan, they're all saying, I scored it for Yan, but it was so close. This fight was not even close. It was competitive. It was not close, in my opinion. And I think it comes down to one thing. O'Malley's shots hitting the arms of Petr Yan. And that's, if I had to chalk it up to one factor, it'd be that. And these MMA media members will shill out for the UFC. They'll shill out for O'Malley because it inadvertently affects their pockets. Whether that be minuscule or in a major way. That's the truth of it. And that's why, I talked about it before. The MMA media doesn't hold Conor McGregor accountable ever. The reason for that being is because it affects their pockets. It affects their pockets. And it's actually super frustrating because I think everyone knows that Petr Yan won that fight. I don't even believe the people who are saying O'Malley won. I don't even think they believe that. I think they're just going with it. Nobody, going to the judges' scorecards, nobody thought O'Malley won, unless you're mentally unstable. So, but we'll move on a little bit now, and we'll talk about something else until we get to the next question about that. Dariush versus Oliveira predictions. I don't know. It's tough because Oliveira, the striking defense just leaves a lot to be desired. And I don't think he's going to be able to take Dariush down and hold him down. But I think Oliveira is a little bit better striker. Honestly, it's a 50-50 fight. I had to dig in it more before I made a prediction. But I lean Oliveira. A super early prediction. How would Kattar or Allen do against Yair? I think they both lose. Maybe Kattar could finish him in a later round, but I think they both probably lose. Do you give first round to... Okay, I already read that. Good job with the growth of your channel. Yeah, the channel's been doing good. The channel's doing well. We're almost to 6,000 subscribers. We got 2 months left in the year. I want to get as close to 10K as I possibly can. Okay, that's not my microphone. Okay, switch back. Is the microphone... Okay, the microphone's back to working like normal, I believe. Yeah, for some reason my microphone completely stopped working. So I had to switch it off my microphone and then back to my microphone. It was ridiculous. Joey, your mic is off. Also, get Joey to 10K. Thank you, NKS432. Thank you for your super chat. I appreciate your support, my friend. And we got the audio fixed, my friend. I saw everyone doing it, but then I was looking because my mic was working. I can see my audio interface. It flares up over there when the mic's working. But for some reason, I went to OBS and the microphone was not showing as working. I don't know what caused it to stop working. And I had to switch it to like my computer audio and then go back to my regular microphone. So, yeah. Appreciate the donation, my friend. Appreciate all the super chats you guys send. I really do. Okay. Going back to where we were. Where did it cut off? What's the last thing you guys heard before the audio cut off? That's what I want to know. Because I would like to know where it stopped working. Anybody. What's the last thing you heard from me before the audio stopped working? I'm looking at the chat, but I'm just going to go back and start somewhere. Jeez Louise, I'm this far behind? Colby has agreed. How much subs do you think you need to go full time? I'll read that in a second. I guess nobody's going to answer that question. Oh, so I was off for a while. Jeez Louise. Yeah, anyway, I thought Yan was easily closer to 30-27 for Yan than O'Malley winning. I agree 100%. I think most people believe that. How would Perez versus Cop go? I'll say Cop by KO, but that's a close fight. Joey, how many times have you seen Islam versus Olives by now? Twice. I've only watched it twice. I read this. Okay, Cater Allen prediction. Where was I at? Okay. All right. So I was pretty much, and I don't know if John heard me, but he said good job with the growth of your channel. Thank you, and we're gonna try to get to 10K before the end of the year. Okay, and we might get close. We'll see. Anyway, I read this at the bottom, even though I was going back to where I was. How many subs do you think you need to go full time? I don't know. I'm pretty good with money. I don't spend a whole lot of money in general other than like technology. Maybe like 30,000 subs, maybe. It depends. I mean, there's a lot of avenues, yeah. There's a lot of avenues to revenue on YouTube. So it really depends. Like if I start getting, maybe I like triple my views per month, and then I get a decent amount of super chats, and then I get, maybe like 100, 150 members. I think I could probably go full time on YouTube, something like that. Triple my views or quadruple my views, which I get about 100 to 120,000 views per month, and then get a decent amount of super chats, which the super chats are slowly upticking over the past few months. And then get like 100, 150 members. I could probably go full time off of that, but that's just a wild guess. Honestly, I'm just trying to give you an answer there. So. Yeah, Yair versus Emmett should headline a fight night if possible in Mexico. Sign me up. Sign me up. I'd like to see it. What do you think the UFC thinks currently about Merab currently? I think they don't even like Merab at all. The most irritating champ I find is he continuously being pissed off for people for pointing out that he talks a big game and doesn't deliver. Like, bro, we line your pockets. So our opinion matters. And it gets to him, too. Izzy doesn't like that shit. But it is very annoying. It is very annoying. I'm dying to see Islam versus Beneil now. Unfortunately, you're going to have to wait, my friend. Royval versus Amir prediction. I could see Amir winning that, but I'm going to go Royval. That's a great fight, though, by the way. Winner of Dustin and Chandler against Dariush. Winner of Dustin and Chandler against Dariush. I think that makes sense. Are you sticking with your theory that if Conor starched Islam, that Khabib wouldn't come out of retirement? Probably. I don't think he would, but maybe. If I was him, I'd have to. Like, if I was in his position, obviously I'm not, I'd have to come back and whoop Conor's ass for that. I couldn't be sitting on the sidelines watching my boy get beat up and then not come back and get revenge. What's your thoughts on people hating the lightweight division because Islam is dominant? It's dumb. Islam is an exciting champion. Islam is an exciting fighter. And I love these dominant champions. Not that he's proved he's a dominant champion yet, but I'm just saying a lot of people think he's going to be. So I think for some reason, it's just a bias against grapplers. Should Frankie Edgar's last fight be on the pay-per-view card? Probably not, but it will be. Adrian Yanez versus Rob Font is a fight I want to see. It was rumored by James Krause, but he said it fizzled out. I think that makes a lot of sense. It's a big fight for Yanez. I feel like Islam's striking better than Habib's. Habib had a better chin. It all depends. I mean, they strike in vastly different ways. Islam's more patient. Habib was just guns a-blazing. What's with the hold up on John Jones' 282 fight? Is Stipe holding up? Probably Stipe, honestly. I don't know. I can't even think about it anymore because it's just, I mean, it seems like it's never going to happen. TKZ versus Volk 2? Yeah, right. Is Yan at 25 an option just like Garbrandt did? Yan doesn't need to go down, though. Yan's still the undisputed champion in my mind. Dariush versus Fiziev, maybe. That kind of makes sense. Guys, I'm short 5'6". I wrestle guys taller than me like Islam size, and they always have trouble to take me down because they're short guy base close to the ground without too much effort. Thank you for that insight, Chupa. Truth is Volk beating Islam does much more for him than Islam beating Volk. Islam is expected to win. Yeah, and also people don't like Islam, so if he beats Volk, they're going to say it meant nothing. Did you enjoy Adesanya versus Cannonier? No, I did not enjoy Adesanya versus Cannonier. If Charles beats Beneil in one of the Fiziev, Arman, Gamrot, which is very likely, Those matches definitely possibly the result. Where do you see him post that? It all depends where the division's at, but he's in the mix. Could the winner of D-Rod Magny beat Sean Brady? It's possible. Yeah, it's definitely possible. I would say no, though. Do you think we will see O'Malley versus Vera or Sandhagen versus Vera, or considering Sandhagen just refused? I think we'll probably see O'Malley versus Vera, too. If I'm O'Malley, that's the fight I would want. Who do you think Brady should fight next? Honestly, he's got to fight someone. I don't even know. I don't even know. Without looking at the rankings right now, I can't think of a name. Maybe a Michelle Pajeda. Chito might be the hardest hitting 135 pounder. Seems like if he touches anyone, it does significant damage. I would agree. If Holland beats Wonderboy, does Wonderboy hang them up? Hopefully. How are you going to call round one clear, Yan? Get your bias shell out against O'Malley. It's not. It has nothing to do with that. I mean, if you watch it, it's clear as day. It's not even up for debate in my mind. I can't even foresee a possible. And I'd be saying the same thing if the O'Malley did the same thing Yan did in the first round. Could you realistically see Jorge beating Burns? And if he wins, who would he fight? I have no idea. But yes, I could see him beating Burns. Round one was close. It could have gone either way. I completely disagree, unequivocally disagree. And I think that's an egregious thought. But a lot of people would agree with you, other than me. So, I'd like to see Brady versus Luque next, perhaps. Luque has a fight, I believe. I can't remember, though. Does he? But yeah, I mean, that's fine, too. I don't necessarily want to see that. I feel like Luque just gets out-grappled, but okay. I favored Chito in a 5-round fight against Sugar. If they do that rematch and it's not 5 rounds, that's a massive missed opportunity. That's a big fight. That should be a main event of a fight night card. And even if it's on a pay-per-view, they better do it 5 rounds. Dustin probably fights Justin again if he beats Chandler. And if Chandler wins, he probably welcomes Conor back. Okay. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know what Conor's going to want. I think Conor's going to call out the dead body at Tony Ferguson. Nobody want to see Cejudo versus Aljo? I think people do. I mean, it's not going to be a big seller or anything, but I think people think it is. How would TJ versus Cruz 2 go? I don't know. I don't have a gauge on either one of their skill sets. I'd probably go with Cruz just because I thought he looked better in his most recent fight, but TJ's injured constantly, but so is Cruz. I mean, I think TJ got off that EPO and just his body started falling apart. Joey going to be in a nursing home still talking about how Yan got robbed. He did get robbed. I mean, it's a brutal robbery. It's one of the worst robberies I've seen. And I never call a fight a robbery. And that was a straight up robbery. And the fact that people are justifying it. My question to you guys, had Yan got the decision, would have single person even uttered the fact that they thought Sean O'Malley won? No, they would not have. Nobody would have been screaming O'Malley got robbed if Yan would have got the decision. I wholeheartedly believe that. Not a soul would have been saying that. But as far as talking about it in nursing home, no. It doesn't. I mean, it messes up the division. That's what I don't like about it. People think, oh, if Sean O'Malley wins, that's why I'm so mad. No, it's not right. If Yan got a robbery decision over O'Malley, I'd be equally as pissed off. And I'm not even pissed off. I'm just annoyed. It's just annoyed that these constant bad decisions happen all the time. They should feed Umar Nurmagomedov to TJ for being a buddy effort to the bantamweight division. Waste of a fight. Yeah, that's not going to happen, though, but I'd be all right with that. Is O'Malley not getting a title shot because UFC think he will lose? I believe, and I'm going to talk about this in my matchmaker video, but I'll give you a little hint since we're on stream anyway, and I like to, give you guys hint at future videos. And I said this in the live stream on, I think it might have been on the post-fight. The UFC don't want to put O'Malley anywhere near Aljo. Absolutely not. They know what Aljo will do to O'Malley. Okay, O'Malley knows what Aljo will do to O'Malley. Okay, and I think the UFC does not like Aljo. I think they want Aljo to lose, and I think Henry Cejudo is their best chance at beating Aljo. And then you get O'Malley a little bit more experience. Maybe match him up with Chito Vera, which a lot of people thought he was winning the first fight, apparently. So if he goes out there and beats Chito Vera, he gets a little bit more experience, and then maybe he goes and fights Henry Cejudo, and he loses, but that's still better than him losing to Aljamain Sterling, where Aljo is just going to ragdoll him badly and dominate him. But Cejudo may do that as well, but it gives O'Malley more time to improve for that potential wrestler matchup, where Chito's just primarily a striker and is going to strike with him. So basically, whether you think Cejudo and Aljo will both beat him, you're essentially putting a year between that beating, now and that beating, because realistically, if they do Cejudo Aljo, at best, O'Malley will be fighting for the title late next year, so you give him more time. Let's see who we got here. Dave Jimenez, or either way, David says 3027 Yan. Thank you for the $5 super chat donation, David. I really appreciate it. I probably butchered your last name. I apologize. Yeah, it's 3027 Yan. It's unequivocally. I mean, I think it's clear as day. I can't believe people are justifying it. I really can't. There's people out there saying Robert Whitaker got robbed against Adesanya. There's people out there saying, Sarukian got robbed against Gamrot, which, I wouldn't call it a robbery, but it was. I mean, I thought Armin won, and to not call this a robbery, I just think is just an insult to our intelligence. And then you have Luke Thomas out there saying, well, maybe VR could help us in the future because we're not watching from the judge's perspective. Yeah. Yeah, and don't forget, Calvin Kattar got robbed against Max Holloway as well, didn't he? Yeah, because we didn't have that VR. Luke Thomas won it. So I agree, David, 100% 30-27 Yan. And I thought it was pretty clear. On rewatch, I thought it was very, very clear. Guys, I am deeply trying to catch up to the chat. If you think Sean O'Malley won, make sure you super chat me the scorecards for Sean O'Malley, okay? What do you think the score was for O'Malley? Send it via super chat if you thought O'Malley won. Just send it with a $5 donation. I see people saying it was a close decision. Honestly, I didn't think it was close. It was 3 rounds. I had 29-28, and 2 rounds Yan won. I had him being dominant. Yeah, I mean, even if you want to say O'Malley won that 3rd round because of the knee, and that's all he really landed in the 3rd round was the knee, which is crazy. You're going to give him a round off of 1 strike. It's still 29-28. So it was the blood, how Yan was busted up. And that swayed the optics. Other than that, Yan won. It was competitive, but not even close. Thank you. I couldn't have said it better myself. White magic. Do you think if it was a split decision toward Yan, there would be criticizing the judge who scored it for O'Malley? Yes. People would say it was egregious. If Bryce beats Ilya, which is a huge of if calls, I favor Ilya. Bryce should Ortega, because actually I think it would be I don't even know what that message said, Big Rocker. I mean, that gave me a straight up brain aneurysm just trying to read it. Joey, I said Yan should leave the UFC. He's on the same page. He's probably disgusted. I mean, he's gotten, say what you will about the Aljamain Sterling fight. At least that was, I didn't call that a robbery. I just said I thought Yan won, but it was close. But imagine how frustrated you'd be to be Yan right now. Patty Mills, thank you for the $5 super chat. Could Merab beat Aljo? I'm just messing with you about the Yan O'Malley fight. No matter what you say, Patty, I mean, I know, okay, it's fine that you're just messing with me. I'm never going to get offended. Unless you say something, I'm not going to get offended, but don't ever worry about hurting my feelings. You don't need to say, hey, I'm just messing with you. Unless you say something crazy and I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you here? It's no big deal. Could Merab beat Aljo? I don't think so. I think Aljo's striking is better than Merab's, and I think the grappling's probably even. Could he beat him? Maybe, but I would go Aljamain Sterling over Merab for sure. I think Aljo's striking would be a little bit better. I think the grappling would neutralize each other, and I would go with Aljamain Sterling in that fight. So, thank you, Patty. I appreciate you, man. No offense to the nursing home comment. I don't take offense to anything, So. Appreciate you nonetheless. Say what you will. I am still not caught up to where you guys told me the audio was off. I'm literally deeply disgusted right now, but I'm trying to catch up. I like to read these questions, guys, especially this community we have on we built on around this channel has some really quality questions. I think we've weeded out a lot of the straight up, mentally ill, strange weirdos. And we get nothing but quality MMA questions. So I got to try to go through these and read a lot of them. Joey, did you see Khabib's reaction to the Yan O'Malley decision? He agrees with you. He also thought Yan won all 3. I mean, round 3 was so clear to me. Yan landed like 4 or 5 massive bombs that I would say one of them was equivalent to the knee that O'Malley landed. And then he had the grappling, and he outstruck him the entire round. You will never have me believe those stats, ever. Those stats aren't real. I won't use them to support my argument. I won't use them to delegitimize my argument. And I think it was clear that Yan won all 3 rounds. In my opinion, though, I understand people look at fights differently. Scoring is highly subjective, and you're entitled to your opinion just like I'm entitled to mine. If Sugar land, and yes, I did see Khabib's reaction, by the way. If Sugar lands a bit more with less impact and Yan lands less with more impact of the punches, would you favor Yan in the scenario, right? I do believe Dana White privilege played a factor in the result. If Sugar lands a bit more with less impact and Yan lands less, yes, Yan would have it would be in favor of Yan, you know? But it's super subjective. It's super subjective. But in that scenario, yes, 100%. Did Dana White privilege play a factor? I mean, they're not paying off the judges here, okay? I think it's just the judges are terrible. I just see now Colby has agreed to 5 rounds. No, that's bullshit, dude. That's bullshit. It's fake news. What's up, Sinister? What's up, Mario? Again, NKS, thank you for the $2 super chat. John Jones tweeted that he's ready for December and waiting for UFC and Stipe. What do you think is going on with Stipe? I wonder if they're in the midst of negotiations with Francis Ngannou, and they've been using the John Jones-Stipe fight as a negotiating tactic against Ngannou. And maybe, just maybe, just maybe they'll get to Jones versus Ngannou early next year. But who knows? Stipe's always inactive. Jones blaming Stipe could very well be. Okay. Sugar won round 3? Absolutely not. First round was competitive. Second round was Yan, 30-27. Yeah, I mean, I think the first and third were competitive, but not close. They can be competitive. You can have a competitive game of football where one team wins by 2-3 touchdowns, okay? But it is what it is. It's over and done with now. Nothing we can do. Sean O'Malley's your #1 ranked contender. Abolish the UFC rankings is what I have to say. Straight up abolish the UFC rankings. And if I was Yan, I'd be super frustrated. I'd be super frustrated. I kind of feel like nobody has a legit chance against Islam at 155. Dagestani Terminator. I think a lot of people feel that way, and I think a lot of people are annoyed by that because they don't like grapplers. Pick 3 fighters that you want to interview, and then pick 3 fighters that you know will give you crazy numbers if you interview. I literally have no idea, Tyler. I can't answer that question. I have no idea. I can't even think, you know, for me, it's not about any numbers. It's just about, for me, it's interesting. But I haven't really thought about, I'd really like to interview this guy, or I'd really like to interview that guy. Off the top of my head, you know, any of the super high-level fighters is what I would like to personally, if I was talking to someone, that's who it would be. You know, the ones that are really up there. Like, where did this narrative that Islam is boring even come from? He has 5 straight finishes for F's sake. Yeah, it's a disgusting narrative. It's people who don't like grapplers. What's up, Joey? Sorry I haven't became a member yet. I know I said I was going to, but I have Cash App and still trying to figure out a way. Dude, don't worry about it. If you can't figure it out, you can't do it. It's not a big deal. I appreciate your support. Just watching the streams nonetheless. But if anybody does want to become a member, the link is down in the description. You get access to the members Discord chat. You get a loyalty badge next to your name. You get custom emojis to use in the chat as well as the comments. Become a member, and you get extra live streams too. So become a member. It's $3. Link is in the description. If by some miracle McGregor starches Islam, he will be bigger than ever. Would be insanity to a whole new level. I agree 100%. 150%. Tyler, thank you for the $2 super chat. I had O'Malley 30-26. Pretty clear fight to score. 30-26, that's it? I had it 35-22 in favor of O'Malley, okay? So, thank you for the $2 super chat, Tyler. That was pretty funny. Appreciate you. Also, I think Yan beat Sean, yes, but you can agree that O'Malley has the fastest hands at bantamweight and he uses his range the best in the division. I don't know about fastest hands, but maybe. People saying now the lightweight division is boring because Islam won. Charles didn't retire or anything. He's still fighting, just not as champion. Yeah, I hate that narrative too. In my opinion, the featherweight division, the next moves should be Cater Allen winner versus TKZ and Soul and Yair versus Emmett for the next shot. They have plenty of time to get those done. I agree. Oh, yeah, you probably answered a bunch, but what are your thoughts on O'Malley against the Elite? Do you think he's championship material? I think there's a lot that remains to be answered about O'Malley, but I think one answer that we do have is that he is top 10 material, okay? How he would fare in the top 10, I'm not sure. But he is top 10 material. I never really believe off of elevating a guy off the loss. And I know technically he won, but I've talked about this plenty of times. There is a disease throughout the MMA community where we perpetually elevate guys off of losses. Colby Covington comes to mind. Don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter. But his two best performances are losses to Kamaru Usman. We are elevating him off of losses. Alexander Gustafsson never lived up to any potential off a loss from John Jones where he was elevated. Dominic Reyes, same thing. Elevated off a loss. And I don't want to elevate Sean O'Malley too much off a loss, but he has proved that he belongs in the top 10. I still see every fight in the top 10 very competitive for him. I think he loses to Yan. I think he loses to Merab. I think he loses to Marlon Vera, but that's a competitive fight. Does he beat TJ Dillashaw? I don't know where to gauge TJ Dillashaw. I would pick Sean over TJ because, his body's fallen apart since he stopped using PEDs. Corey Sandhagen fight would be fun. So he does belong in the top 10. He does belong fighting some of these top contenders. And he is... I don't want to say like he's the world-class elite at 135, but he definitely can hang in there with the elite, and he's definitely a solid fighter for sure. But again, I have to caution you, we can't elevate a guy off of one loss, okay? So, and especially a loss that may have taken a lot out of him. And I said this in the Discord the other day. I think that there's a real possibility we never see Sean O'Malley fight again. Say what you will about Sean O'Malley, he's not a dumb guy, okay? He realizes he can make a lot of money off of playing video games, streaming video games, and selling merch. And guess what? That's a lot better than taking brain damage. Sean O'Malley just went through a war with Petr Yan. And I believe Sean O'Malley will be one of those guys where he holds out for what he's worth. And the UFC may not be willing to pay it. And O'Malley could say, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm not going to take brain damage. And when I can make money, streaming video games. So, we'll see. We will see. But nothing but interesting fights ahead for Sean O'Malley. NKS, thank you for the $2 super chat. Even Hooker's career is defined by his Dustin loss. Another example. This happens all the time. We're elevating fighters off of losses where they performed well. And it's a terrible trend in the MMA community. And it actually drives me nuts. So, thank you for the donation, though, NKS. A great example. And there's probably plenty more off the top of my head that I can't think of. Okay, where are we at? I'm trying to catch up to the chat, guys. I'm trying. People saying now the lightweight division is boring. Okay, read that. Who is next for Islam besides Volk? I did an entire video on it. It's on the channel. I give 4 potential opponents. You can check out that video. You're right behind in the chat. We discussed what you were saying. Did you see Habib's reaction to Yan? Well, I answered that one. Appreciate you. O'Malley is the biggest McGregor fan. We might as well call him a stand for McGregor. Okay. I'm thinking of betting 4.5 under on Izzy versus Alex P. If it's good odds, I guess do it. O'Malley should be on the Australia card versus Cheeto redemption mode. That's a massive fight. When I saw Sean versus Yan, I said Sean is down 1 round. I thought he won the third pretty clearly. You thought Sean won the third pretty clearly. I'll disagree with you on that one. Yan got the takedowns but didn't do any damage with them. That's my argument for the judges. But also, I've said this before. I'll say it again. First off, that narrative is completely false. Completely false. Yan got the takedowns and did no damage, okay? That's not true at all. Did he do a whole lot? No. But he landed some good, solid ground and pound. I would say what would equate to maybe 25 to 30 shots on the ground throughout the totality of the fight, okay? In transitional spaces, when Sean was scrambling back to his feet against the fence, he was landing good shots there as well. So that whole narrative is wrong. Take away all the grappling exchanges. I think Yan won every single round just based off the striking alone. He landed the harder shots. And a lot of O'Malley's strikes were hitting the arms of Petr Yan. I think it's 30-27 for Yan. And I watched it 3 times total. And nobody's going to convince me otherwise. I don't think, you know. Maybe I'll watch it for a 4th time in a month and I'll be like, you know what? Could Bilal, I hate cheesesteaks, Muhammad win the welterweight title? Yes, but I doubt it. What's up, Vince? What's going on? What's your reaction going to be if the winner of Poirier Chandler fight Justin? I'm probably going to be so done. I mean, it's going to be a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. All the media members saying they had Sugar winning seriously should have their credentials taken away. I don't know if we need to go that far, but I mean, they're just pushing the narrative that's going to garner them the most internet traffic, which is super unfortunate. Very unfortunate. O'Malley is a pay-per-view fighter. He will never be on a fight night card. We'll see. We'll see. I think Usman Nurmagomedov is better than Islam. It's just different promotions, so Usman doesn't get the credit. I mean, it's tough to tell, but he's very good as well. I agree. We need to normalize not giving 2 shits about what fighters say or think that are super inactive. These media members are looking for clicks and internet traffic, okay? And I know you have some of them. I've seen Ariel say in the past, we don't get paid off of clicks. You have your job based on your internet traffic, okay? That's what you have your job. That's what keeps you employed, okay? They make a full article for every time one of these fighters tweets. I mean, how many times have you... I wish I could have, a counter of how many articles from legitimate, large MMA media websites about Conor McGregor tweets. It's a lot. Speaking of Usman Nurmagomedov, is he a better striker than Islam and Khabib? I mean, seems like it, but I don't know. Did 280 break 1 million pay-per-view buys? Absolutely not. I can't believe there are people saying Sean won. The decision ruined what was a really good fight. I agree. Umar versus Sean, who wins? Umar for sure. I'd pick Umar. But it'd be interesting. Conor versus... I'm not even going to read that. O'Malley should fight Sandhagen or fight Cheeto again. I think O'Malley, Cheeto 2 is the fight to make. Let Sean try to avenge himself. How do you think Islam versus Colby or Usman would play out? Would Islam out wrestle them? Absolutely not. I think they'd be too big for him. Yeah, so I don't think Islam would fare well at welterweight. If Cejudo returns, I honestly think there's a chance he wins the belt and puts that division on lockdown. Maybe. Could very well. Not going to lie, if that knee never busted Yan up, I believe Yan would have won, but he looked rough. Sean said he felt like someone was peeing on him. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the main shot that O'Malley landed in the fight. Cejudo Aljo is the next fight, a bantamweight fight to make. Yes. Dana said he thought it was a close fight. If his shoe was on the other feet, he would have been absolutely outraged. Of course. Of course. Maybe Sugar knows what it's like to be peed on. Maybe. Do you like Luke Thomas? I mean, not particularly. I don't really watch him. Call me delusional, but Sean versus Yan was close. Everyone, I mean, it's subjective, so everyone can score it how they see fit. Bro, the Weasel said Yan versus O'Malley wasn't a robbery, but goes on to say TJ versus Sandman was. Like, what the F? I also believe, and I know there's people who are going to say I'm biased, okay? It is what it is. You're gonna think what you want regardless. I believe there's a lot of YouTubers, and I've talked about this since I started my channel, regardless of what it's about. They are scared to criticize highly popular fighters for fear of backlash because they want those fighters' fans to watch their channel. If I got on here and did nothing but, gobble up Sean O'Malley, I'd probably have a lot of Sean O'Malley's fans subscribe to the channel, okay? But I'm not going to do that. I believe some people do that. And it may not just be Sean O'Malley. It may be Conor McGregor. It may be a litany of popular fighters. There is people who are scared to say anything negative about popular fighters for fear of backlash and because they want the views from that set of fans as well, because they're a large set of fans. Knowing the talent in the lightweight division is in Bellator isn't great. Do you think Usman Nurmagomedov dominates Bellator? Probably, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Just off the top of my head, yes, I think he's going to win the lightweight belt against, I forget which Pitbull it is, but yeah, I think without having the division in front of me, I don't remember every fighter in Bellator off the top of my head. I like Usman Nurmagomedov's chances in Bellator. Man, the fact you can't see any way that O'Malley won is actually insane. The best judge in the game picked O'Malley. Yeah. I mean, do what you want, but I rewatched the fight 2 times and watched it once live. I can't see it for O'Malley at all. Am I weird to say Aljo should have finished TJ in round 1? He's kind of bad not being able to finish him. He came close, though. He came close. Guys, do me a favor. If you have not already liked the stream, run up the likes on the stream. And also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please go subscribe to the channel and make sure you turn on notifications. One of my new goals is to get 1,000 people with notifications turned on, and I'm very, very close. So if you can go down and you can turn notifications on, the little bell icon right next to the subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate you. But you're not weird to say that, Gage. You're not weird to say that. Does Conor deserve a fight against... I'm on an island, but I think Ilya gives Bryce a tough out and win. Super good fight. You think Ilya gives Bryce a tough one and wins? You're saying Ilya wins? I think I might pick Topuria in that matchup. People think Topuria is some slugger on the feet. Topuria is primarily a grappler and a jiu-jitsu guy. People for some reason don't realize that because Topuria started knocking guys dead out of nowhere. I'm probably picking Topuria in that fight. I've never been super high on Bryce. I think Merab beats Aljo. Merab's grappling is better than Aljo and better BJJ. Maybe. I mean, it's a close fight, regardless. I am so far behind, I'm literally going to throw up. Thoughts on Bellator versus Ryzen? UFC versus Bellator, never going to happen. And I don't really have any thoughts on Bellator versus Ryzen, to be honest. I'm sorry, Dylan. Is John fighting at 282 or not? I do not believe he is. O'Malley got a good chin, though. Got to give him that. I agree. People will never give O'Malley credit. I gave him plenty of credit, but he still lost. I don't think the judges are rigged in any fight. I think the judges just don't know too much about MMA, but they were qualified. We need 5 judges at least. Colby loves witness protection. Yeah, he does. What's up, Bernie Mac? What's going on? Now the rankings, not that the rankings matter. What did Yan drop to? I think he's number 2 now. If you interview Colby, could you hold back from cringing from his act he's going on? You know what's funny, Iceman? You're not in the Discord, but someone sent me a picture. Colby's coming to Baltimore. Colby's going to be close to where I'm at in a couple days. And I thought about going there and see if I get a couple questions with him. But I'd be cringing hard if that's the way he acted. I have no interest in seeing Volk versus Islam. Fair enough. I think it's much harder to score the fights live than we think. We have the benefit of watching fights multiple times and saying who won. That is true. I hope Yan doesn't leave the UFC now. That'd be devastating, actually. They move Sean to number 1. Dana loves the fighters that make him the most money. Exactly. Charles might be done. His chin is gone. We'll see. Crazy idea. If Arnold beats Calvin, he fights Max on the UK card. Yeah. I mean, that could happen. We'll see. Tyler killed me. Thought he would say 30-24 for Sugar. Imagine someone has a 10-8 Sugar each round. I'm sure they do. They'd still be justifying the scorecards. The narrative that Islam is boring is crazy, especially after he beat Charles the same way Charles beat Gaethje, which everyone loved. I know. I think it's just because he's not vulnerable. Yeah, maybe it's so. They don't have that edge of the seat thought. Where is he going to get starched out? I love Luke, but he's very inconsistent and fickle in his response. He can also be a little rude to fans. There was some guy asking him about soccer. He went on a major rant. Still love him. Fair enough. Fair enough. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Let him and Sandhagen fight next. That'd be a fine fight. Reyes won that Jones fight. Got screwed. That's all. Got elevated off a loss, though, and look what happened since. Look what happened since. Dude, he got elevated off a loss, and look what happened to him after the fact. If Jones ever got a gift, it was the Reyes fight. The Reyes fight was very, very close. The Reyes fight was very, very close, guys. Okay, now it jumped all the way to the bottom. All the way to the bottom somehow I jumped. Volk versus Olives would have been much more intriguing fight than Islam Volk. The big question is, can Volk go all 5 with Islam? I don't know. It's a tough fight. I don't like Volk's chances. You still have Vera over Sean. That's really surprising. So how do you see Vera versus Petr going? I think Petr would beat Vera, but it'd be very intriguing and a very difficult fight. But yes, I do have Vera over Sean. I think Sean would win, and then Vera would land a big devastating shot and be back in the winning. You know, just like kind of against Rob Font, where he's getting outstruck, but then he lands a big shot. Boom. Bones knew he lost to Reyes. Okay. The highlight of Colby's career is when he lost to Usman. Agreed. Poor Benny deserves a title shot. He may never get it. He was reevaluating his life after that fight. Dude looked like he saw a ghost. I agree. I agree. Everyone was saying Yan was the best in the division. Okay. Do you think Makhachev finished mostly everyone at lightweight? Probably. If I had to go off the top of my head, yes. Yep. Great. Great. I have a water here, and the cap's just spinning for some reason. Real quality here. Guys, by the way, we'll be doing the weekly live chat tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. I actually might do it a little bit later. I might delay it a little bit by maybe 7 p.m. or 6:30. I gotta figure out what I'm doing tomorrow. But we'll see. I heard Yan was negative 800 going to the third round. That should probably tell you everything. Yeah, that's everything you need to know. Lamau Sean just tweeted, watch the fight again, and he def won. He's just trolling it. He's just trolling. He doesn't really believe that. I think the UFC won't give O'Malley a title shot because they know what Sterling will wrestle him to death. They'll wait until it's a good matchup. Well, they might wait a while. I think they're going to wait and hope Sean gets better. But I kind of agree with your assessment. O'Malley is more profitable, marketable for Dana in the long run. Hence, he gets the nod. All right. Whatever you say, my friend. Whatever you say. Out of Dustin and Justin Chandler, Chandler has the best chance to beat Islam. Yes. Dustin, Justin, Chandler, all easy work for Islam. Okay. Do you think Hamzat fighting on the side, is he going to promote his image? I mean, keep his name in the headlines, I guess. I don't know. Is anyone going to watch Usman Nurmagomedov live in Chicago? What do you mean, like going there? Is that what you're asking everyone in the chat? I'll be watching live, but I won't be there live. I can't wait till this weekend circus is over. Connor, look, I'm not reading that one. I misread that by mistake. I will never discuss that. Now, I feel like Sean won the striking. He used his range. No, absolutely not. I mean, he hit a lot of the arms. It was nothing but arms. TJ legit doesn't have a legit win since Cody No-Chin. That is crazy. It's that EPO. It's that EPO. He's off it now. He's different. I mean, EPO is good for recovery. Redemption for Sean. Give him Cheeto and all the wooden canes next to the cage. Yeah, have a stretcher on standby just in case, too. How badly does Volk get owned by Islam? I don't know. I think he gets finished within 3, probably. Who do you think will give Islam the most problems on the current roster? I feel like Gamrot or even Arman. Probably Arman, maybe Fiziev. You think Chandler will actually give Islam some problems? I could see it possibly. Yes. I think Chandler's the toughest, one of the toughest matchups right now. Because he's got a good ground game. And he's got a good ground game. And he's got good wrestling. He's got good striking and good power. But Chandler's kind of chinny. So he probably get chinned by Islam somehow. Respect the course, man. Yeah, respect the course. Bro, I'm dying right now. Respect the course. Yeah, you got to respect the course. Listen, guys, if you don't respect the course, I don't know what you're doing. All right, you got to respect the course. Paddy Pimblett should fight Rafael Fiziev. That's just as funny as respect the course. Do you know what Rafael Fiziev would do to Paddy Pimblett? He would literally brutalize him badly. Paddy Pimblett, I mean, he would never fight again after that. Rafael Fiziev would absolutely dirt him. Go see Colby, man, a legend. Yeah, I doubt it, though. I really don't feel like it going to some dirty, dingy bar to go meet Colby Covington, who I don't even like. Honestly, they should just remove judging criteria since we can't tell who's winning fights without it. We're not children. We don't need to be told who's winning fights. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I think we need more judges. I think that's what would fix it. Who you got for Charles versus Dariush? I'd probably lean Charles, but Dariush probably could beat him. Dariush is super technical on the feet. And I mean, Charles is just so defensively irresponsible on the feet. And that's why I told you guys I could see him getting chinned by Islam. But I'd probably go with Charles just because he has heavy pressure. And Dariush sometimes has trouble dealing with pressure. I mean, the Jakar Close fight, I know he ended up winning, but he was getting tagged by Jakar Close. So that's a tough fight. I think that's the fight to make, though. Who do you think can beat Islam? Are we stuck with him as a champ for a long time? Fiziev is your best chance, but I don't think Fiziev beats him, probably. Are you hyped for this weekend's card or nah? Nah. Joey Connor's the most popular MMA athlete of all time. Similarly, Khabib is the second most popular MMA athlete of all time. They both transcend the sport. Who is number 3 in your opinion? I have no clue. Who is third? Who is third? I'm not even sure I agree with 2. There's probably someone in the history of MMA that's probably more popular than Khabib, but maybe. I don't know. I can't give you an answer on that one. Do you think you could beat Dana White in a 5-rounder? Herb Dean is the referee. I don't want Herb Dean as the ref because if by some chance I lose, I'm gonna have to eat 60 unanswered shots before he steps in. But with Herb as the ref, you never know. We could get an early stoppage too. It's super I would probably drop Dana and then Herb would jump in, then jump out. He'd touch me on the back, but then back out and say, keep fighting. And Herb is the most indecisive ref I've ever seen. If that's Aquafina water, mine do the same thing. What's weird is I bought a different batch. It was a different bottle last time I had Aquafina. And now they screwed me over with these shitty bottles, which I don't even like the cap as much. And the bottles feel not as quality, and the cap gets stuck. I'm sure someone's already asked, but what's next for Charles? I think Beneil Dariush makes most sense. I think that makes the most sense. If not, I'm sure there's Rafael Fiziev, but I don't want to see Charles go against Fiziev because I think Fiziev will brutalize him. So I think Beneil Dariush makes most sense. NKS, thank you again for a $2 donation. I'd probably say Diaz or Masvidal is 3 or 4. There you go. You answered the question, my friend. You answered the question. I think you're right. Diaz very popular. I agree. Okay, now I got to go back to where I was. Okay, here I was. Charles tapped from a hug. He got rocked badly, though. People forget that. Islam is too big for Volk. There are weight classes for a reason. Islam is a welterweight who can cut weight very well and squeak in the lightweight. I mean, people act like Islam is some huge, massive... I mean, Islam is fine at lightweight. People are just crying because they don't like grapplers. So the fact that Islam can hold people down, they say, oh, Islam's a weight bully. A lot of these guys are cutting weight. I mean, it's just the nature of MMA. People are cutting weight, and it is what it is. I mean, there's probably people who cut more weight than Islam. People just use it as an excuse because they do not like him. And it's actually really annoying. I hate the term weight bully. If you notice, I don't ever use that term. Yeah, I don't think we see Sean go a while. I actually think Cheeto fights Yan or Merab. I hope we don't see Cheeto versus Merab because Merab is going to brutalize Cheeto, and it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun to watch, and I hate Merab too. So that Dana White privilege line is Tony, a timeless classic. Will stand. Yeah, Dana White privilege will go on forever. Josh Thompson be like, I'm going to homer for every AKA guy. Also, Josh Thompson, listen to me. I'm an expert. When he's wrong often, don't get on my case. You couldn't have predicted that either. Yeah, Josh Thompson and Big John McCarthy, like, rather than listen to their MMA analysis, I'd literally rather jump in a wood chipper, legs first. Okay? That's how much I dislike Josh Thompson and Big John McCarthy. Would you go to a PFL event? If it was close enough to where I live, yeah. Islam defensive mastery surprised me. Yeah, great footwork too. The way he was circling out, I was watching some of the clips today. He looks very good on the feet. Sarukian actually gave Islam a very competitive fight closer. Yeah, and I think that was Sarukian's debut and a short notice too. Who do you think the top 3 lightweight prospects in MMA right now? Define prospect, because is it nobody in the top 15? You got to give me definitive things. If it's nobody in the top 15, I like Terrence McKinney. And off the top of my head, I just can't think of anyone right now. Terrence McKinney, great prospect in the lightweight division. Let me go to UFC World Rankings real quick so I can look up people outside the top 15. Let's go to lightweight. Terrence McKinney's definitely one of them, though. I used to be... Oh, here's an easy one. Guram Kutaladze. So, Guram Kutaladze, Terrence McKinney. I mean, is Brad Riddell a prospect anymore after losing 2 straight to Jalen Turner and Rafael Vaziev? Jalen Turner's just barely in the top 15, so I'll say Jalen Turner too. I've been high on Jalen Turner as well as Rafael Vaziev for a long time. I seriously want Tony to get McGregor. That guy has been a workhorse for the division and deserves his red panty night, which is fair to say pink panty night, but it's still panty night. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Conor McGregor, PED-riddled Conor McGregor, go out there and destroy the dead carcass of Tony Ferguson. I don't want to see that. I get we want to get Tony Ferguson paid, but geez Louise, to watch Conor McGregor go out there and beat up the dead body, I can't watch that. I can't co-sign that. Half the judges probably had Yan winning and picked O'Malley based on some made up criteria. They were probably watching Pornhub on their phone while the fight was going on. They were like, oh, well, that guy's bleeding, we're picking him. Chandler really is the guy you don't want to get hit by in the lightweight division. Yeah. Rip Patty if you give him Fiziev. Yeah. I think, there's a few times I've used this, exact sentence, but Fiziev would give Patty a career-altering beating. It would be really bad. Unless he got KO'd right away, which he may very well. If it goes any significant portion of time, he's going to have his legs chopped, his ribs broke, and he's going to get chinned badly. And it's going to change his career forever. And it's going to mess with his psychology, too, because, he has no chance versus Fiziev. I bet that house on Fiziev. Do you think Costa gets brutalized by Bobby Knuckles? Brutalized, I think, is a little bit strong. But I think Bobby Knuckles picks him apart from the outside and wins the decision most likely. Costa's super durable. Whitaker's super durable. I don't know what the reach advantage for Whitaker is. I'm just assuming that it's much longer than the T-Rex arms of Paulo Costa. So I would go Whitaker by decision. Costa, if he wins, I think first round KO, but I don't think that's super likely. Okay, where was I at? Now it just jumped down. The chat just jumps down. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's just doing me dirty. Islam has sick boxing fakes now, dude. I don't like the way you spelled sick, dude. You spelled it S-I-K. Shame on you. Somebody mod ban him for that. That's unacceptable. That hurt my head just reading it. Popular is John Jones for sadly the wrong reasons. John Jones is very popular, but against the right opponent, though. It has to be against the right opponent. He doesn't draw against guys like OSP. Is it crazy to say Islam versus Conor will make at least 2 million pay-per-view buys? No, it is not crazy. I shook my head yes because I agree with you. I said it in my video yesterday about Islam. I think I even specified over 2 million buys. Is it true what they say about the Sani water? You're going to have to fill me in. I don't know what they say about the Sani water, my friend. Why does it seem like Dana doesn't want to give Dariush the next title shot? Why does it seem like Dana doesn't want to give Dariush the next title shot? Because he's got a super fight on his hand between Volk and Islam, which is far more promotable than Dariush, unfortunately. Habib became more popular mostly because of the Muslim community. Pay-per-view buys, he's not even top 5. Rousey and GSP, bigger draws to name a few. There you go. This guy's thinking there's different types of Aquafina. There is. I probably have one. No, I don't. I think I threw them all out. There's different bottle types. I mean, you can go back and watch a stream from 2 weeks ago. It was a more square bottle type. There wasn't this this regressed portion here. Okay. Let me see if I can Google it real quick, just out of pure curiosity. Now you're pissing me off, bro. Aquafina bottle that I just had. Aquafina bottle. Yeah, I had this more squared one. Look, there's different bottles. This is the one I like. Okay, I like this bottle. I think it's more aesthetically pleasing, and the cap's better too. Look at that. That's a more squared off bottle. This one's got it's like regressed at the bottom. But nonetheless, it doesn't matter. Now we're talking about types of bottle of waters. But shame on you. And am I really that far behind? Yeah, I'm really far behind. Jeez Louise, guys. I'm already an hour and 26 into this. I wanted to go for an hour, and now I got to try to catch up to this. I hope Arman gets by Demir. He's still a great matchup for Islam. Dude, the lightweight division is sick. Demir Ismagulov, Guram Kutaladze, Joel Alvarez, Arman, I mean, what Arman did to Joel Alvarez was nasty. 5 judges would be perfect. I agree. Yep. That's what I've been saying for a while. You think Volk has 0 shot? No, I don't think he has 0 shot. But I think it's not highly likely. Islam is lean, though. Not as nearly as wide as Habib. Yeah, he's never missed weight. Yeah. I would say Habib is the second most popular MMA athlete because of the Muslim community. They love him. Okay. Chandler is bigger than Islam, and nobody calls him a weight bully, Lamau. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Have y'all seen Jalen Turner? He's 6'3". He's a huge lightweight. Dude, Jalen Turner is nasty. What he did to Brad Riddell was sick. Islam is not huge. He just has very good technique and grappling strength, just like Habib. Basically, he's much stronger than he looks. Fair enough. Fair enough. I thought you were a fan of weighing in. Are you trolling me right now, bro? Are you outright trolling me? Joe, you can't argue Islam is massive for lightweights, though. I can argue it because there's no evidence to support that. We don't know what his walk-around weight is. There's no evidence to support that. He didn't look particularly bigger than Oliveira. Islam has denser muscles from generations of mountain man blood. Am I crazy for thinking Islam might surpass Habib in terms of dominance? No, I think it's very possible. Islam does look huge after he's rehydrated. Okay. I said Chito fights Yan and Corey fights Merab because I think Sean takes time off after that war. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. My UFC 280 React video went viral. Is it on your channel? Let me see if I can find it. I don't know how to even find your channel. What would define viral? What does viral mean? Let's see. Go to channel. Oh, I see. You got 11,000 views. That's not bad, man. I don't know if I'd call that viral, but that's pretty good, I guess, for you. Congratulations, regardless. Javier Mendez is solely responsible for Islam and Habib striking. He doesn't get enough credit for that. Okay. Joey, always good to talk to you. Hope all is well. Keep up the great content, man. Appreciate you, Noah, a.k.a. Machine Gun Kelly, which you have as a profile pic. Please read this. Joey, would you name your first child? No. If it means we get to... No. Absolutely not. Joey has the most random takes sometimes, like Fiziev brutalizing Charles. I fuck with it, though. You really have your own opinion on everything you say. I'm not just making up shit. There's a lot of motherfuckers that just make up shit. I mean, I think Fiziev absolutely brutalizes Charles, and I've said that for a long while. When I first started this channel, again, I'm going to mention this a million times over. Somebody asked me, who's somebody that's not currently ranked in the UFC that you could see as a future champion? The answer was Rafael Fiziev. Guram is a bad matchup for anyone in the division. I agree. And he's not even ranked in the top 15. Islam will be considered the GOAT at lightweight when it's all said and done. I'm not a fanboy, just being realistic. I mean, none of the guys that could possibly dethrone him right now, they're all, Islam's a bad matchup for all of them. Islam most probably better than Habib, if I'm honest. That's the worst sentence structure I've ever seen. Corey versus Sugar is the fight to make. No, Sugar versus Cheeto 2 is the fight to make. Best fight for McGregor is still him and Masvidal at 170. That fight would be massive. It's crazy to think AK will have a lightweight champion for both UFC and Bellator by next month. That would be crazy. Corey versus Cheeto 2 versus O'Malley. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And now I lost my spot again. I think Fiziev actually gives Islam a bit of problems. He's the only one I could see beating Islam, but even him, I think he probably gets taken down. We haven't seen him against a high-level wrestler like Islam. And Rafael Dos Anjos is a decent wrestler, but, you know. Dos Anjos is like 178 by now. Bobby Knuckles seems to be much more cautious ever since Izzy knocked him out. Thoughts? I don't think so. I think he was just hyper aggressive in that Adesanya fight. Out of the ordinary aggressive. Would you think Chandler can beat Islam? He's got wrestling, anti-sub game, and super strong, just a little chinny. I think it's possible, but I wouldn't pick him. We will still have Hamzat versus Colby or Usman at 170. Whitaker at 185. And Whitaker at 85. Yeah, I love all those matchups. Actually, crazy how big Conor is. They have cards like 280, not even touching 1 million. Conor does that by himself. Yeah, but also 280 was in the daytime. And if it had been nighttime, I think it would have got close. Probably close. Does Russia and the Middle East use the pay-per-view system? I don't live in either one of those places, so I don't know, but I don't believe so. Most of those places have like TV deals because the pay-per-views come on like early in the morning, so no one's going to buy the pay-per-view. That's why Abu Dhabi government pays the UFC millions of dollars to supplement their pay-per-view income that they will lose putting it on at 2 p.m. in the United States. You notice you hear these massive deals with Abu Dhabi and they're bringing events to Abu Dhabi. That's what they mean by that. Abu Dhabi government pays the UFC to bring an event there and put it on in prime time, synced up with the Abu Dhabi time. And, it's going to be shit for people in America. And because of that, they lose pay-per-view sales. I'm a Tony fan for life. I think he should step into a coach's role right now, though I think Tony's stuff isn't fundamental but unique to him. How much? Yeah, I don't know what Tony does. But I don't want to see him fight anymore. The capsule new water bottle suck, constantly leaking. Agree. Islam will beat Arman worse if they fought again, maybe. Who do you think beats Islam? I don't know. Right now, nobody. Do you think Usman Nurmagomedov could be UFC champion? Maybe. Taira would run through Muhammad Makhachev or Makhachev. I can't remember how to say his name properly. I mean, right now, Makhachev, even though he finished him, having a close fight with Malcolm Gordon, I would pick Taira. If that's how you pronounce his name, I can't remember. So I would agree with you, Will. Islam looked beatable. Okay. Henry can beat Aljo because he's the best wrestler and Aljo won't be able to backpack him. Yeah. Joey, what's up? What's going on? I think Islam and Oliveira will fight again. Okay. I have the same barber as Dustin Poirier. I think you mean Poirier. And apparently he messed his rib up, but he still should be good against Chandler. It's in Coconut Creek, Florida. Oh, okay. Holy shit. So you're right. It did go viral. 574,000 views. That's nuts. That's not probably because it says Brazilians react. I see. I saw it. I just saw it. Volk might be too strong for Islam. We'll see. Dana must know Sean might not be truly ready for a title shot. Agreed. Personalities are key when it comes to gaining fans. Somehow all the Dagestani guys are just quarrels. Okay. Charles has a suspect chin. Rafa Fiziev, great takedown defense, elite striking. Fiziev murks him. Yep. Matchmaking, Aljamain Cejudo, O'Malley Vera, Yan Marab, Islam, Volk, Oliveira, Darius. Okay, I love all the fights. I love them all. Do you want to see Chandler? Do you want to see Michael Chandler head kick KO someone again? Sure. When did he head kick KO someone? I don't remember. A fighter with Whitaker's fighting style would be well suited matched up against Islam's skill set. Yeah, but Whitaker's at 185, bro. I called it years ago. No one will be a bigger draw than McGregor when it comes to pay-per-view draw on a consistent basis anytime soon, if ever. It'll happen eventually, but when? I didn't know that about the Abu Dhabi pay-per-views. That's interesting. Yeah, that's why they cut deals with them. The UFC loses millions of dollars on pay-per-view revenue because they get all their pay-per-view revenue from the United States, or the majority of it. So if they put it on at a weird time in the United States, they lose a lot of pay-per-view buys. Do you think Usman will be the same fighter versus Leon Part 3? Yes. I think he'll beat him. Drew Dober just enters the lightweights rankings. Who do you match him up with? I don't know. I don't know right now. Guram. Who did more damage against Yan, Aljo or O'Malley? Visible damage, O'Malley, but Aljo landed some good ground and pound that second round. The broadcast wasn't the same this week without Rogan. I don't care. I don't like Rogan anymore. He's pretty much checked out. So, by the way, the dude's UFC 289 reaction got 500K views, not 11K. That's surprising. AF. Yeah, that is crazy. How many subscribers did you gain from it? Did you gain a lot of subscribers? Or how many subscribers did you have when you put it out? Henry's over his head. Thought he was going to fight TJ again, but it will be beaten this time around. Okay. Bro, you should do reactions with similar format like that guy who went viral. I mean, I do reactions. I just watch the whole entire fight. So rather than post like 2 minutes of reaction. So it is what it is. I don't do them all, but I'm not gonna do all that right now. I don't really care about necessarily going viral. I just, it is what it is. Prime Charles versus Prime RDA. Who do you got? I'd probably pick Prime RDA. I'm very high. Chandler head kick KO Tony. That is true. That is true, but I know a head kick is, I consider a front kick and a head kick different, if that makes sense. I get it's all kicks to the head, but you should have said front kick. That's what confused me. Chandler, okay. Is Aljo versus Cejudo the fight of the year? Everyone's calling it a super fight. It's not a super fight, dude. It's not a super fight. I don't know why people say that about every random ass fight. It's a super fight. Anybody saying it's a super chat, it's a super chat. Anyone saying it's a super fight is an absolute idiot. They don't know shit about MMA and they're an idiot. Are you going to the sports bar to meet Colby in Baltimore October 29th? Maybe. Video almost got 600 views. You looked at the wrong one. Am I just catching up to that? I'm almost finally to the bottom of the chat, guys. So if you have any more questions, throw them in the chat. I mean, we're over an hour and a half at this point. Do you think O'Malley could KO Cejudo? It's possible, but doubtful. Thoughts on O'Malley being ranked #1 contender? Absolutely egregious. Abolish the UFC rankings. I had 6 subscribers, and after that video, I had 1,100. That's crazy. That's crazy. My channel is now eligible for monetization. Follow me, guys. Yeah, but it's going to be hard to put out content like that consistently. We'll see. Aljo said he had 14 sisters. I was like, maybe that's the age, but no, check. The dude has 21 siblings and half siblings. That's not a set of parents. That's a baby factory. Yeah, that's crazy. That is absolute straight up insanity. That is straight up insanity. I mean, that's wild. I can't believe, I want to fact check that because I have a hard time believing that's even true, but I'm going to take your word for it. I will take your word for it. Do you think Chandler was already past his prime when he signed to the UFC? Yes, I do. I have absolutely no idea how it happens. I think it's the name, the Brazilian in there. A super fight would be if Volk beats, and I'll check out the video after this stream. Super fight would be if Volk beats Islam and calls Khabib out of retirement. Yeah. I mean, super fight is champion versus champion is what I can define super fight as. Why do you think Aljo isn't a star at this point? 2 defenses and good with the mic. He's good with the mic? In what universe? I think Aljo, people don't like his style. People don't like that he got the belt off a disqualification win. And when he talks, he just rubs people the wrong way in general. I don't know what it is about him. I can't tell you. It's very weird. You did a good job with followers gained last week. Yeah, I think I gained like 200, 300 subscribers in the last week or so. Is Volk versus Islam a super fight? Yes, it's a champion versus champion. If you really wanted to define it, I used to consider it champion versus champion, but both champions were very dominant. But I say champion versus champion still gets it. Brendan Schaub thinks you, me, and everyone else thought O'Malley lost or straight haters. Can we get a response video of that in the future? Why would I respond to anything a mentally disabled, CTE riddled Brendan Schaub thinks? If anyone in this chat, and I'm sorry, Alfie boy, if anybody in this chat thinks I give a fuck what Brendan Schaub's opinion is on MMA, let me know right now so I can just ban you from the channel. You shouldn't even deserve to watch the channel right now. because that guy is an absolute idiot and a goofball. And I think there's something wrong with him. So I really shouldn't even be talking shit about him. But I don't care what his opinion is. It holds no weight in the MMA community. People only hate watch him. I don't think there's anybody out there that genuinely likes him. And if there is, you know, yeah, is there anybody out there that actually likes him? I can't imagine there is. I think people hate watch him. They wonder what dumbass shit he's going to say next. And literally, there's nothing that he can say that will ever hold any weight with me, even if I agree with it. I don't care what the man says. He's got a little bit too much CTE. I think he got beat up a little bit too bad by Travis Brown and others. Got knocked out too many times. I really can't believe he's still even relevant online. I don't believe he would have as much attention as he currently does if it wasn't for Joe Rogan. So, yeah, it's pretty disturbing. I can't believe anybody likes Brendan Schaub, honestly. Aljo's way too cocky and cringy in his trash talk. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. Sup, Joey, just got here. Did you see Petr Yan was considering leaving the UFC because he feels he doesn't have his back? Per DC. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I hope that doesn't happen. I think he's just saying that, but it's because the judges saw a massive gash on Yan's eyebrow. Saw so much bleeding, he counted it for damage. I guess so. Charles made a ton of money as champ, and even in defeat, his stock has not taken a beating. May have risen slightly. I don't think it's risen slightly, in my opinion, but maybe. I know that is getting in La La Land, but imagine Volk beats Islam and Habib back-to-back. Undisputed GOAT forever, yes. You nailed it. Thank you. You sound like Dana White saying, I don't give an F. Ew, don't ever do that. Cejudo is coming back. I know I'm a Cejudo only fan. Yes, you are. Bro, I'm dead. Nobody watches that guy. Who wins, Cejudo or O'Malley? Cejudo or Vera? Who wins, Cejudo or O'Malley? Cejudo. Cejudo versus Vera, Cejudo, and Cejudo versus Sterling. I picked Cejudo versus all of them. Are you talking about yourself? I was absolutely talking about myself. The fight companion this week with Schaub was awful. Him, Frank Mir, and Jesse on drugs. That literally sounds like a torture chamber. I would quit MMA rather than watch that fight companion. Quit watching MMA is what I mean. Is Brendan Schaub a credible and reliable source because Joe Rogan platforms him? I don't know. It's sad to be an Australian fan right now. I was hoping Charles to win since it would be a more fun and easier matchup for Volk and Perth. Islam is the hardest fight for Volk in the division. Shout out to Volk for wanting the hardest possible fights. The only real question is with him is what's up with him rubbing his knee and leg constantly. Who watches that to even know? I can't even. The only thing I see of Brendan is I'll see like little 30-second Twitter clips of him just saying the most egregious stuff ever. I saw one on Twitter a couple weeks ago of him saying Mr. Rogers was a sniper in the military. And they pulled it up on screen and it said, like, this is fake. That's just perpetually sent around for some reason. I'm not even going to read any more about that guy. I don't even want to talk about him. If O'Malley trains and gets better, he wipes the floor with everyone in the division. Okay, you could literally say that about everyone. Will Yan go for a KO finish next time he fights so he doesn't get screwed with the judges? No. The UFC should make Covington fight Hamzat or Shavkat next. Yeah, if Colby Covington comes out witness protection, yeah. What does it mean when Dana White says a fighter turned down a fight? I mean, it could mean a million different things. It could mean the fighter's injured. It could be the fighter wants more money. It could be the fighter just didn't like the time frame. It could be a negotiating tactic from Dana. So it could be a litany of things. Who do you think Charles fights next? I'm going to say Beneil Dariush, but I don't know right now. I mean, that makes the most sense, but we'll see. Cejudo finished Prime Dillashaw in 30 seconds. That he did. And EPO Dillashaw. Sterling will be too strong for Cejudo. I doubt it. Joey, who do you like to watch out of these people? None. None, and none. If I had to watch one, I'd watch Luke Thomas. What's up, Niles? What do you think of Emmett versus Holloway matchup? Sorry I'm late to the stream. I'm here now. Don't worry about it, my friend. Don't worry about it. I don't really like Emmett versus Holloway. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan. Aljo won the title off an illegal knee, won a close rematch that should have lost 3-2, then beat a man with one arm and decided to talk shit afterwards as if he didn't just beat a handicapped man. Yeah. Like it up, chat. Thank you, Niles. Yeah, like the stream, guys, if you haven't. How good would O'Malley be if he had elite level grappling? He'd be very good. Which fighter do you think would have do the best in boxing? I have no clue. Do you think Valentina getting dethroned anytime soon? I mean, she could lose to Talia Santos. You mildly enjoy Luke Thomas. I mean, he's all right. I haven't watched him in a while. I used to watch him a lot, like the MMA Beat days. If anybody remembers the MMA Beat, I used to watch that, which was really good. It was like Ariel, Luke Thomas, Chuck Mindenhall, and usually somebody else I can't remember. Jeff Wagenheim, I think it was his name or something like that. That was really quality stuff. I really enjoyed watching the MMA Beat back in the day. But Luke, for a while, I used to watch his stuff maybe 5-6 years ago. Probably I stopped watching him and maybe in like 2016, 2017. Whenever he started taking over the MMA Hour, I never watched him like super religiously. But whenever he took over like the MMA Hour, he was super shilly, and I didn't really like it, and I stopped watching. And he was always shilling for Conor McGregor. I remember I have a video saved on my phone from him talking about how Conor McGregor's suit was just so beautiful, and it just sounded so, I mean, he was gobbling him up as much as he possibly could. And also sometimes I just think he kind of sounds super douchey. So I mean, he's all right, but he looks, his analyst style looks amazing when you compare it to the likes of Chael Sonnen and Brendan Schaub. Charles versus Connor works too if we ignore the USADA pool. Sign me up. Dana the type of guy to call his grandpa this kid? Yes. What's the connection between Colby being in witness protection and avoiding homicide? He's in protection from Masvidal? No. It's just kind of a joke I invented. Basically, Colby's dodging the fight. That's it. That's the joke. Have you ever broken a bone before, Joey? No. Jones Stipe is win now. It's not going to happen. What matchup would you like to see next from Marab? I don't know. I'm going to do a bantamweight matchmaker video very, very soon. Luke Thomas breakdowns aren't that bad. I haven't watched a breakdown. Would you consider an MMA blog? I don't even know what is that? Writing an MMA blog? Probably not. I don't have enough time to do that. Would you consider yourself starting? Okay, read that. I don't know why I just read that twice. Joey doesn't have the time to watch boys. He's busy putting out great. Yeah, there you go. Dude, I'm not talking about thou who shall not be named. Do you watch DC and RC? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Luke Thomas's butt buddy BC is pretty entertaining. Just loves the sound of his own voice. MMA Beat was the shit. DC commentator was good in 280 and no more complaining when he's commentating another Islam fight. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Josh and Big John takes digs at Luke constantly. I mean, Josh and Big John are just awful as well. Figueroa versus Moreno 4 going to happen, yes, at UFC 283. I broke my collarbone a couple times. Okay, thanks for the information. Do you think Alex will be Izzy's toughest fight in UFC? It's hard to say. It's hard to say. On paper, it seems like it. But when the fight actually plays out, it's hard to say. What matchup would you like to see for Dan Hooker? He's fighting Claudio Puelles at UFC 281 now. Are you not looking at these cards, bro? Then who is Jones' next fight in Ngannou? I think so. Joe, what do you think of the House of Dragon finale? I enjoyed it. I thought it was solid. I enjoyed it. The champion has a name, Islam Makhachev. Okay. Joe, you're crazy. DC and RC is valid for the most part. Alrighty. Jones lives in DC's head. Okay. Big John still reffing UFC events or no? No. Is virtual reality coming to the UFC or no? Maybe. But I don't care. And you shouldn't either. Shit is a gimmick. Go buy some virtual reality and go buy some NFTs and there you go. You signed up. You go get a Joe Rogan tattoo while you're at it. So you don't want to talk. No, I'm not talking about that garbage. I don't support that garbage. I don't care about that garbage. And I refuse to talk about that garbage in any capacity ever. Don't you know, Vince? Don't you watch enough, Vince, to know that? I don't talk about that garbage. All right, guys, we're going to go for like another 10 minutes. We're almost at 2 hours. We'll go to 2 hours, and then I'm out of here. My throat still hurts, okay? Like the stream real quick. And if you're watching and you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. If Sterling somehow beats Cejudo, should he just move at the featherweight because it's pointless to see Sterling or Cejudo end Sean's career? Why should they move up? Because so they can give Sean O'Malley a spot? No. Thoughts on Pueli's Hooker fight being on the main card for MSG? Is it on the main card? I thought it was on the prelims. But I think it's a decent fight. Dan Hardy and Dana got beef now. Dana has beef with everyone. Do you think Francis versus Gon 2 will happen? Maybe in the future. Dan Hardy's a tool, but Joey, yeah, it doesn't matter if he's my favorite or not. I'm not supporting that guy. I pretend it doesn't exist. DC and RC is good. Alrighty. Enjoy then. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I thought maybe because you're a big Spider fan, I am a big Spider fan when he was fighting in MMA. 280 just didn't live up to the hype. Yeah, well, I think it was just the hype was so much. I think it was still a solid card. I just hate how people get fired from the UFC, bash it as if they never liked it or complained about it. Yeah, I get it. Do you think Darren Till is done? If he can't beat Dricus Duplessis, he's done for sure. I'm hungry AF right now. We'll go get something to eat, Mario. I hadn't looked, was too excited for 280. Krylov called him out in a post-fight interview. Would you like to see Krylov versus Smith? Isn't Smith still recovering from that injury that he suffered against Magomed Ankalaev? So, I mean, I think that's a fine matchup. Dom says DC and RC is shit. The prelims was ass. Only good fight was Bilal and Krylov. Yeah, the prelims weren't particularly good, to be quite honest. Till future middleweight champ, 10% chance or less. UFC roundup with Felder and Chiesa better than I didn't even know that existed, to be honest. About to sleep, but drop by to support the stream. Hope you're having a great day, Joey. Everyone like the stream and subscribe. Thank you, Mukhtar. Appreciate you, my friend. Always showing the support. Makhachev didn't live up to that negative 1,200 favorite. I know. I said he was my lock of the card. Did you see Shavkat standing behind Hamza at 280 watching the altercation he was in? No, I did not. I did not notice that. Till ended up being a major disappointment. Yes, he did. Sterling or Cejudo would destroy Sean. That's why it's pointless. Dana already knows the outcome. That's why Sean's not getting the next shot. That could be very well be. That's what I think. Is Sterling versus Cejudo official? Absolutely not. It's far from it. Is Makhachev overhyped? Yes. I don't think he's necessarily overhyped by people, but he's overhyping himself. Michael Bisbing podcast and your channel, only content I watch regularly. Appreciate you, Magic. Did you see Yuri locked himself in darkness and didn't eat for 3 days? Dude is a savage. I saw a story about that, but honestly, I didn't care less about it. I just think it's kind of, not really. It's really a non-story. I picked every fight on the card correctly. Usually I get them all wrong. Are you on Tapology, my friend? But yeah, congratulations if you did. TJ and Sterling ruined it. The judges sucked at 280. Okay. With Bellator and Rising partner up, AJ McKee versus Roberto Souza, the fight to make. I have no idea. I'm not familiar with Rising's roster. What's next for Giga? I don't know. Maybe Sadiq Youssef. That's the fight that was supposed to happen. Do you want to see Islam versus Volk? I feel like Islam smokes him. I mean, I don't not want to see it, but it's not like at the top of my list. Benil is king. Okay. Is that your house or your parents'? It's my house. Sterling beat up Sean would be awesome. We need this. It would definitely happen. Sup, Joey? What's up, Big Frag? Or Frang? My parents are telling me to get a job and get a house in Cali. They're tripping. I mean, I guess go ahead and do it. JJ Smoke with the Nate Diaz emojis. I think that's his first message in the chat. He just decided to show up. At the last few minutes of the chat. We're getting ready to end this, John. So, we've been live for 2 hours. I was only going to do an hour, but you guys have just kept me here nonstop. My throat literally hurts from talking. Patty versus Jared Gordon, early prediction. I'm going to go Patty, probably by submission, late round submission, maybe. I don't know. I got to dig into it deeper. I think Jared Gordon's an okay fighter, but I think Patty's made to, I mean, it's a matchup made for Patty to have success. Is Merab your bantamweight GOAT? Absolutely not. When is Paige Van Zandt fighting again? No idea. What state do you stay in? Maryland. Where are we getting another Curtis interview soon? We'll get one before his fight for sure. I don't know when. Why does Conor always have to insult Khabib and his father? I don't know. Conor's a piece of shit. Conor's a piece of shit. Do you rent or pay a mortgage, bro? Pay a mortgage. You skip my first message like you always do. Well, I must have missed it, my friend. I don't mean to skip it. I mean, you are a little bit mentally ill with your takes sometimes, but I didn't mean to do it. I apologize. Is writing or journaling a big part of your creative process? Do you write notes before live streams or before making a new video? Believe it or not, no. No. I occasionally will take a few notes. I've never taken any notes or anything before a live stream. I'll occasionally take a few notes before a video, but that's if it's like if there's a video where I have like 8 different topics, like not necessarily wide-ranging topics, but if there's multiple topics within that small idea of a video that I want to make sure I touch on, I will take a few notes. But outside of that, everything is like right off the top of my head. I have an idea of where I'm going, and I just pop on the camera and just talk, and that's it. So, like for example, let me go look at a couple of videos, and I'll tell you maybe but I would say for notes for video, I would say less than 10% of the time. I'm going to go back and tell you probably the last video I took notes on. Let's see. I don't know. I'm trying to find. I think I had a couple bullet points for McGregor can use PEDs. And I wanted to talk about the USADA deal with the UFC. I wanted to talk about the waiting pool. And I wanted to talk about like the John Jones example with the Gustafsson fight. And there was a couple other examples in there. The Vitor Belfort example. So I had a few like different points that I wanted to discuss. And a lot of times I'll forget a couple points in a video. So in that case, I had a couple notes for that. But outside of that, and I just pull up my email and just type them real quick right before I do the video. And then I'll just, in case I forget them, I can just click on that tab while I'm recording the video. But that's pretty much it. Lesnar's another draw, number 4 or 5. Yeah, Lesnar's a huge draw. Thank you for the super chat, NKS. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Would you go around with Round Rossi for 10K? Sure. Joey, I'm back. I didn't know if you were here. Conor's just tilted over the great loss to Khabib. Yeah. What round does Islam finish Volk? I'll say second. I'll say third round. Do you smoke weed or vape? No, I do not. Should I like the stream? If you want to. If not, you can just leave. I cool. Okay. What about lines like stretchered out of the cage with no serious injuries? You use that exact phrase a lot. Is that something you came up with on the spot? Yeah, pretty much. I just thought it was funny. It was just kind of a way to troll O'Malley fans. So I thought it was funny, and it's true. I mean, was he not stretchered out of the cage with no serious injury? Was he not? Don't forget to subscribe to Joey. He's always makes our nights better. You guys got to get better with the uses of the proper words, man. Should be O-U-R. But no big deal. No big deal. I figured it out anyway. I like Volk better than Islam. It's just his wrestling just different, bro. I heard USADA watches you take a dono. Okay. No serious injuries. Or no serious injury. Yes, Tommy. Joey, why do you think Dana would book Conor against Islam if he come back and spark Tony? Because Islam going to do him the same like money, my friend. Money. Can you see anyone beating Islam anytime soon? Because I can't. I love Volk, but he doesn't match up well with Islam. Best chance is Rafael Fiziev, but I don't think Rafael Fiziev is going to be able to pull it out either. What's the weirdest thing anyone asked you on stream? I have no idea. I can't remember. I don't even remember the questions I answered on this stream, let alone countless other streams. Like literally, if you ask me, if I close my eyes right now and you ask me, what are what's 5 questions I've been asked on this stream? I really probably couldn't tell you. I could guess, but I don't actively remember. Do you think, I don't know what you're trying to say there. That's definitely not a fighter. Is Islam going to retire after 3 title defenses? God, I hope not. I really don't want to see him retire after that. Yeah, I hope not. I think Islam will stay active for a while longer, and I don't think he's gonna bail out like Khabib did. Who you got, Khabib versus Francis at heavyweight? I'll take Khabib. I remember when I thought no serious injury would be a cool T-shirt, and then you made it a T-shirt. Joey, you had time to reflect and rewatch Yan. After watching it again, I found round 1 was close, and I thought Yan had a better round 3 aside from one cut. It looked clear, but 1 was Yan, but close. Yeah, I thought 3 was clearly Yan. I thought 1 was the closest round. I thought 2 and 3 were clearly Yan. 1 was the closest round, but I still thought it was Yan. Volk can beat Islam if he's able to hurt him with leg kicks. Yeah, that's a big if. Does Cejudo beat Islam for lightweight gold? Is that even a serious question? Is Islam ever going to be double champion? I doubt it. I find it hard to believe he could win a welterweight title, especially considering they're very grappling heavy at the top of the welterweight division. Khamzat Chimaev, Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards is a very good grappler. Colby Covington, Bilal Muhammad even is a good grappler. Islam's not going to go up there. Islam's not going to go up there and out-grapple those guys. He's just going to have a size disadvantage, and those guys are excellent grapplers as well. Islam's win felt like an end of an exciting era at lightweight. He's a great fighter, but his fighters don't have a lot of momentum swings. What do you think? Now, I mean, definitely we were living in a super exciting era just because Charles Oliveira was getting rocked all the time and then coming back and winning. But I think there's a different level of excitement for Islam fights because it's like, who can beat Islam Makhachev? Who can beat him? And how dominantly will he win if he does win? So I think it's a different level of excitement, and I'm really annoyed at people calling Islam boring because I don't believe he's boring. I think O'Malley calling Volk short guy bothers him. I doubt it. I doubt Volk gives a shit what Islam says as far as like subtle jabs at him. I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that. But all right, guys, I am going to get out of here. Do not forget to like the stream. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Crazy, every O'Malley defender are magically only following Sean in terms of MMA. I've seen many that like recent comments on their page meat riding Sean, clear BS fanboys. Sounds about right. It sounds about right. Volk looks like a gremlin. Okay, I disagree, but all right. You think Volk can pull off the upset? It's possible. Frank is now signing up for Tapology. Appreciate you, Frank. Just like the stream. Yeah, guys, don't forget to like the stream before you go. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. All that good stuff. Go check out my Islam Makhachev video on the channel. Go check out my Was Petr Yan versus Sean O'Malley video on the channel. Go check out my Calvin Kattar versus Arnold Allen prediction on the channel. Do all those things. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching and enjoy the rest of your night.